Hey everybody, this is Izzy here coming to you with my review for Doctor Sleep, the paranormal psychological horror film that is a sequel to The Shining that came out in 1980. This film is a continuation of the events that took place at the Overlook Hotel and is focusing on Jack Torrance' son, Danny. Before I get into the whole details of this review, I want to go ahead and state that I have not read The Shining, nor have I read Doctor Sleep. So my knowledge of those particular novels and how faithful the film is to the overall source material is non-existent, if I'm completely honest with you guys. My initial plan is to read those novels, most likely after I finish The Stand or Salem's Lot, one of the two. I do intend to read them though. So this is more or less my familiarity with the cinematic adaptation of the films in totality. I love The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick classic. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. And when I first heard that they were making a sequel to The Shining, I must admit, I was a bit hesitant to it, simply because the first is such a classic to me, and I know there are those who have read the Shining novel and absolutely hate the film, and then you have those who love the film but they haven't read the book yet. Now, like I said, I fall in line of those who haven't read the book and love the Shining, the film. The sequel takes place after the events of the first Shining film, and it is following Danny Torrance, who is played by Ewan McGregor, and the film is catering more to the fact that Danny is in his own private prison, if you will. He is dabbling in drugs, alcohol, and he's trying to escape he's trying to escape himself, but at the same time he's dealing with this gift of the Shining that allows him to communicate telepathically with others and at the same time communicate with the dead. I have to say, I did enjoy the film. I thought it was very good. I thought it was unique. I thought it was special. But the problem with the overall concept in general is that it's very hard to recreate the overall atmosphere of creepiness and weirdness that Stanley Kubrick created with his film. And there are some moments at the beginning of the film is absolutely creepy. It is definitely creepy. It is very reminiscent of the tone that was established in the 1980 film. But then it doesn't really focus on the creepy nature for a lengthy period of time, and that was where a little bit of disappointment came in. But at the same time, it did deter me from enjoying the cinematic experience. Danny comes into contact with another young girl who has the same ability as him, and this girl is hunted by this group called the True Knot, and it's kind of I guess the best way I could describe them is that they're kind of a cult, hippie, Amish type of group, and they're going around stealing others' shining, stealing others' essence. I guess the best way to describe them is shining vampires. And when I say shining vampires, I do not mean Twilight sparkling vampires. I mean these are beings who are feasting on the essence of others. And the leader of this group is Rosie the Hat, and she is played by the ever so beautiful Rebecca Ferguson. And the film, as far as acting is concerned, the film absolutely belongs to Ewan McGregor and and Rebecca Ferguson. They play immensely well off one another, and she just has this seductive, charming, amusing yet sinister way of how she is able to communicate with the members of her group, and how she uses her abilities to threaten others, threaten those who are weaker than her. But she does an amazing job. I mean, she frightened me to a degree. I mean, she's just, aside from being absolutely beautiful, she does an amazing job as Rosie the Hat. Again, I haven't read the novel, so I can't really state how faithful her character depiction is to the novelization. But from a cinematic standpoint, I really did enjoy the film. I thought it captured everything that I was more or less looking for as far as a worthy sequel to The Shining. I understand that nothing is going to really recreate what this film did for me personally. Stanley Kubrick was one of the most unique and one of the most one-of-a-kind directors who took a Stephen King classic novel and made it into his own. I will say the film isn't so much more. Isn't really a horror film, in my opinion. It's more along the lines of an action-based paranormal thriller, if you will, where you are just. It's following more about Danny using his gifts for the betterment of humanity, and also attempted to be a mentor to this young girl, Abra. And Abra, who is also blessed with the ability to communicate with the dead or communicate telepathically, and it's more about the character development between them and also Rebecca Ferguson's character, Rosie the Hat. There are some intense moments, there are some creepy moments, but at the same time, like I said, it doesn't really. Mike Flanagan, the director, doesn't really have that same ability to focus on the creepy, weird, odd, uncomfortable essence that Stanley Kubrick was able to do in terms with his film. How with The Shining, it was always about, well, was the hotel haunted? Was Jack Torrance, was he simply going crazy, or was he really becoming possessed? Or what was going on? He was able to really make you question your own sanity to a degree. Whereas in this film, it isn't so much about, well, how can I put this? It isn't so much about trying to, or more or less wondering if what they're experiencing is real. I mean, you know what they're experiencing is real, and they are being hunted by some of the most vicious, evil, bloodthirsty, soul-thirsty individuals of a group. And it's just, how they're able to balance that particular element within the confines of this film and the story is just, they do a brilliant job, in my opinion. Like I said, you can't top what the original did. You never will be able to. But I did enjoy the film. It was very fun. It was entertaining. The creepy moments that did occur, it was very. It definitely had me on the edge of my seat. As far as a Stephen King adaptation is concerned, one thing people do need to understand, that any type of Stephen King story that's adapted into a feature-length film is going to be on the lengthy side. And this film is very long. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. And that's not including trailers. But with that said, it's just a great experience for me, because I love horror. I love anything that makes you kind of think about whatever it is that you're experiencing and it makes you uncomfortable, and great horror does that. There are moments in the film where I felt very creeped out. Like I said, the beginning of the film is by far one of the most creepiest moments, and just how they managed to, I guess, go back and have that little Easter egg from the first film. It just really makes you go, has a hair stand up on your neck, and it was just very, very weird and creepy, and made me kind of go, oh my god, that was a bit out there. How they managed to incorporate the fact that they're using their abilities, and how they use their abilities for their own betterment and for their various purposes was also a job well done as well. Rebecca Ferguson's character, Rosie the Hat, I can't really stress just how intimidating she was in this film. Just brilliant job. I mean, I have to give Rebecca Ferguson, standing ovation for her performance, because it was just, words can't describe how amazing she was. And there's a lot of nostalgia in the film as well. That this isn't so much of a spoiler, because you've seen in the trailer if you did watch the trailer, and there's a lot of nostalgia when you get back to the Overlook Hotel, and it was just spellbinding seeing the hotel on the big screen. And I finally got a chance to watch The Shining on the big screen when we had for our flashback cinema, and it was just, seeing the Overlook Hotel on the big screen then was amazing, but seeing it on the big screen again was just spellbinding for me. It just felt so. It reminded me so much of why I love the first film, and just seeing all the different Easter eggs and references and the memories, and how you're following Danny into certain areas, and you're beginning to remember, this is the area, this is where Jack was, this is where Jack was hunting or stalking his wife, Wendy. And it was a great film. It was a really great film. Now, I will say, they have, obviously there were certain actors and actresses that had to be replaced, because Shelley Duvall, unfortunately, isn't in the cinematic acting realm anymore. Scatman Crothers isn't one of the caretakers or the hotel attendants from the Overlook Hotel. Unfortunately, he passed away in real life. So it was just, there were certain actors and actresses that couldn't be available, and at the same time, Jack Nicholson is in the film. But I will say, there is a cool scene there was a very cool scene when Danny returns to the Overlook Hotel, and you seriously is probably one of the best scenes of the film in my opinion. It was amazing watching everything come full circle. That, and once again, that's not really a spoiler because you know for a fact, especially in the trailer, that Danny does go back to the Overlook Hotel. But overall, I loved Doctor Sleep. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. I thought it had the right amount of creepiness. My only complaint is that I wish they actually went full scale as far as capturing the creepy nature of The Shining. Because it was there. I mean, it was absolutely there. I just wish they would have focused upon it more. And I think primarily the reason why they're not able to do that so much these days is because of technological advancements as far as special effects and tonality and atmosphere is concerned. Without the usage of practical effects, you have a lot of this horror elements isn't there like it used to be with the great films of with the great films of the horror films of the 70s and 80s. But again, it doesn't really deter you from enjoying the overall concept of the film. They do a great job, and it's very entertaining. And once again, it's long and it's violent. And there is one scene, there's another scene that did make me uncomfortable, where it shows you exactly how this group, where they go and what they do in order to attain a shining from an unsuspected victim. And one scene in particular was just very hard to watch. It was insane, absolutely insane, and it made you want to see them fall. And that's the mark of a great antagonistic villain, where you're not rooting for these people and they are just the evil of all evils. And it was just, that scene really set it apart from the original film, where it's just absolutely horrific. But overall, once again, and I hate to sound repetitious, folks, I'm sorry. It is 12:58 in the morning, and it's been a busy week for me this week. So forgive me. I'm a little tired. I'm a little bit on the tired side, but other than that, I'm still feeling pretty good. But Doctor Sleep, great film. I did enjoy it. I give it a 5 out of 5. I do. I give it a 2 thumbs up. I hope everybody does get a chance to watch it, and when you do, let me know on my Facebook what you thought about it. Let me know in the comment section on my YouTube channel what you thought about it. Provide a like, and I don't know what my next film review is going to be. I'm thinking Last Christmas or maybe Midway. I'm not exactly sure, but whenever I find out, or whatever decision I make, you guys will be the first to know. Once again, Dr. Sleep, a 5 out of 5, 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section on my Facebook what you thought about it. Let me know on the YouTube channel what you thought about it. And I will be seeing you all again, my friends. Take care and peace out.